Witches and witchcraft still fascinate adults and children alike. From scary bedtime stories to a violent real history stretching back hundreds of years, there truly is no end to the tale of the witch. But exactly who or what is a witch? Find out as Paranormal TV offers a point of view story on witches and witchcraft.
17th century, the definition of witchcraft or being a witch meant that you had made a pact with the devil. They very much believed in the existence of the devil in the 17th century. The pact would have meant that you would give the devil your soul, and in exchange you would get magic, evil powers with which you could torment other people. That's the 17th century definition. Then, of course, there's the popular witch image, which we see a lot of at Halloween. That comes down through probably European culture. You think of Hansel and Gretel and the wicked witch out in the forest, the old woman who was going to bake them in her oven, the wicked witch in The Wizard of Oz, all that imagery. Then there's a third meaning, and this one is, of course, a very different kind of one. There are people who practice witchcraft today, and they date their religion back to ancient times. It is a very different kind of belief than the 17th century definition, and they want to make very sure that people understand that they do not have an entity of evil in their religion, but in fact worship nature and a goddess. They're very peaceful, very benign people.
Witchcraft is a religion that is earth-based, which means that it's a religion that works in harmony with the natural forces. It's an honoring of Mother Nature.
The fundamental belief is in the duality of the Godhead, that we believe in a God and goddess. Within that form, it is the feminine and masculine principle within ourselves.
The church during the early years, 11th through 17th centuries especially, there was really a lot of propaganda confusing what is the God in nature and in witchcraft. The pagan god, who is another name for him is Pan, you know, the guy with playing the flute and dancing around, and they made him into the Christian idea of the devil so that God could have an adversary. There is no devil in witchcraft, and there never has been. That concept of evil is actually a Christian concept.
One of our creeds or credos is do what thou wilt, let it harm none, and also beware of the threefold law. It will come back in a return as well as positive things. So that is a good check and balance, I believe.
The word Wicca or witchcraft comes from wicker. It means to bend or to shape, and it's about bending and shaping the realities that we can change. The negative propaganda against Wiccans has really translated into our fear of wearing our sacred symbols, especially the pentacle, the five-pointed star with the circle around it, which embodies earth, water, fire, air, and spirit, which is the microcosm of the universe. It is also a symbol of protection and reminds us of the web of life, the way everything is interconnected.
Witches will practice two ways, well actually three ways. With robes, without robes, or in street clothes. To make the sanctity of the ritual that much more important, we reserve the robe for the magical rite.
We celebrate in circles as opposed to in rows of people sitting and watching someone perform a ceremony. It's very participatory, it's very personal, and everyone who is a part of ceremony contributes to ceremony. Well, we worship in small groups. As opposed to occasionally there's larger celebrations, but usually it's a smaller group. And you know, the traditional coven number is 13, and it's a small group, so you can really get to know people and really work together out of really getting to know each other over time. It's celebrations of the calendar of life, which is the agricultural calendar. The solstices, the equinoxes, the cross-quarter days.
You have several celebrations in a year, right? A lot
Oh
of holidays.
yes, we have 8. We have 8 altogether. The one coming up is the fall equinox, and right after that will be Samhain, or Halloween is the more popular name for it. And these are agricultural holidays. These are the holidays of the farmer's year. And we also have lunar celebrations, full moon, dark moon, new moon celebrations, in addition to personal ceremony for rites of passage, for passages like birth and menopause and menstruation and death. I feel like I have special powers that I've nurtured. I think a general feeling with witches in general is that everyone has these so-called special powers, that they're natural to every person. It's a question of developing them and acknowledging them and learning how to use them for the benefit of yourself and others. Healing abilities, a lot of it is a development of empathy and compassion, which are and intuition, which are certainly traits that everyone has available to them.